I was born to moonshine.
Okay, welcome back. This is the third part of the video. What we've actually got here now, we've actually got the still set up. Now, this is my own still. This is just what I've made at home. Don't take this as gospel how stills look, because I've seen far better stills than I've got here. This is just a real simple, rudimentary still that anybody can make. What I suggest you do, in this video we don't show you how to make the stills. You can find up other tutorials, you can research that on Google, on the internet and things like that. You'll find better ideas how to make these stills. But basically I'll just go through some of the main components to a still. Then we're going to go through how it's going to work. You're going to see it working, we're going to see the product coming out, and then we can go from there. Right, okay, the first part of your still is this part. This is your cooker. This is basically your where you put the wash. You saw that earlier on as we were pouring it in. This is this part here. This is your pots. So what we've got to do here, it's on the gas stove. So the stove's boiling up the ethanol inside, and then what happens is it converts that ethanol into steam. Obviously, like water vapour, it evaporates. The steam is then going to come up this pipe, and then it's going to go into this here. Now, what this is called is the condenser, and what this does, this pipe goes into there and it coils round. And inside here is cold water submerging the coil, the worm, and what that's going to do, that's going to condense the steam back to a liquid, and then it's going to come out this spout here, this spigot, and then we're going to collect it into your little collector. And basically that's how the still works. Now, in that wash that we made, that clear wash, is about 20% ethanol, and the rest of it's water. 80% is water and a little bit of sugar and anything that's left. That is what we don't want. Now, because ethanol has a lower boiling point than water, that's the first thing that's going to evaporate first. And obviously we're going to go through that in a bit about heat control, because you don't want to have this at 100 degrees, boil this up, because you're going to get water in with your steam. So there is a technique to doing that, and round the back here I do have a thermometer, and it tells me the reading of the actual steam temperature, not the liquid temperature, the steam temperature. Well, again, we'll go through that. And obviously what we're going to do, like I say, is going to boil up the ethanol. The ethanol is going to convert to steam. It's going to come along this pipe into the condenser, into the worm. It's going to cool down back to a liquid, and that's going to be your moonshine, your vodka that's going to come out of here. So what we'll do now, I'm going to take you around and just show you around all the different parts inside of here. I'm going to show you the thermometer at the back, and then we're going to go through the temperatures and things you're going to do. But definitely look up your own designs. The first one I ever made was a pressure cooker and a paint tin. It's all very simple to make. Definitely the things you should look out for these, a couple of tips and rules really, these can be illegal in some states in America, some places around the world. I live in England and it's okay to own a still. Definitely check up the laws where you live. Again, it's how much you want to bend them laws, how much you're willing to take the risk. Again, that's up to you. I don't want to tell you it's fine. Do your research, look that up. We're also going to go through some of the dangers by having a still. You know, there's a lot of things that can go wrong here. Where I live, there was a story a couple of years ago about somebody had a still and it exploded and killed 4 people. So these definitely aren't just things you can just mess around with. Definitely do your research, definitely look them up. Make sure you know everything you do. Start small scale first. Like I say, I had a pressure cooker, little 5 litre pressure cooker and a paint tin, and I got the theory right, and I tested it and proved it and it works, and then I've gone a bit bigger and I've got another one I'm having made at the moment, a big stainless steel one. This is a bit Heath Robinson and made ash together really, but it's just for the principle of this video you're going to see it working. The other thing to do is research about the side effects, the bad parts of actually making moonshine, the 4 shots. That's the poison part at the beginning. That's going to be your ethanol, your methanol, your acetone. You definitely don't want to drink that. Again, I've seen other stories about that, people going blind, people's livers failing, even death. You know, definitely do your research before doing this. So make sure, you know, you're fully aware of everything you need to do, and again, just double check and check and check again that you really don't know what you're doing. Again, this ethanol, because it's ethanol, it's flammable. So if there's any leaks or gaps in any system here, and that steam, that ethanol vapour, that's highly flammable, and you have got a gas flame down here, again, they can explode. So never ever leave your still unattended. Always stay with it. Keep a fire extinguisher to the side, for example. Just basically know what you're doing. As well, make sure your room's ventilated, because again, it's ethanol. It could be a poisonous gas, you know, things like that. You don't want to be breathing these in. You're in a small confined space and it's just filling up with ethanol gas. Again, that could be explosive, so just make sure you know what you're doing. Just check again. Right, okay, I'm going to show you around some bits of the still now so you can see inside, and then what we'll do, we're going to let this boil up and we'll talk about the temperatures like I said, and then we'll go from there and be able to see it actually working. Okay, this part is your pot. Now I know it's got a piece of wood on it, but that just holds the lid on, but there is actually a lid underneath, and it is air sealed, it's airtight. Now all this does is keeps the lid on. To be honest, you don't really want much pressure in these at all, because it's an open-ended spigot at the end. There should be no reason why pressure should build up in these. So I've seen some stills with pressure gauges. This one doesn't, but my new one, that will have a pressure gauge on, just to be safe. But again, just make sure everything's working. To be honest, if you listen at the end of the spigot, you'll be able to hear it bubbling up, so that's a good clear indication that this pipe isn't blocked. Then what we've got, the most important thing on a still, is you've got the thermometer gauge at the back, the temperature gauge. Now what that's done, that's got a probe inside here measuring the steam temperature. Now there's a golden number we're going to need to get to, which we'll talk about shortly, which is about 80 to 84 degrees centigrade, which is about 170, 175 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe. That's the boiling point for ethanol. We don't want to raise the temperature any more than that, because all you're going to do is you're going to raise it and you're going to start evaporating water, and you'll just water down your moonshine. You're just going to get a weak alcohol by volume. So like I say, this is your pot. This is what we put the wash in. You know what we made earlier on, that clear liquid? That's inside there, and at the minute it's on, it's raising temperature and it's building up. Then what you've got, your pipe. This is what's going to carry your steam. It's going to come along the top, and then this is your condenser. So I'll take the lid off. I'll spin it round. I'm not sure if the camera can see that. If you come around here, you'll probably be able to see a bit better. You've got a coil in there. That's the coil of the copper pipe going round. And this is cold water on the top. Now on my still, what happens is I've got two pipes going. So I've got cold water coming in and then warm water going out, because you want to keep this water cold. If this water boils up, it's going to be not very efficient. This is not going to condense the steam back to a liquid if this water gets hot. So just make sure you've got a nice flow of cold water, keep this cold, and the steam will reduce. And then you've got the most important part, the spigot, the tap. This is where the liquid's going to come out shortly. So what we're going to do, we're going to get this up to temperature, and then we'll be able to show you about the side effects, you know, the dangers and things about the methanol, the acetone, the things like that, and how much to take out, and we'll go from there. Okay, it's got up to that magic number now, 82 degrees. As you can see, we're starting to run now. So as you can feel, the actual pipe's red hot. So this is your product now. This is your moonshine, and if you can see that coming out. Now what you do now, what you want to be doing, is once you get it to, like, say 82 degrees, we don't want to be adding any more heat to the pot. We don't want it to get higher than that, because what we're going to do is add water to the mix. So what we're going to do, we're going to get it up to about, like say 82 degrees, which it is now. I'm just going to get it to be dripping. You want it about 2 or 3 drips a second, because that's the sort of like perfect time, because you're not running it too fast, you're not running it too hot, and what will happen is you'll get a really, really strong alcohol coming out of this. So I think that's about right. So what we're going to do now, we're going to turn it down to simmer. So we'll just simmer only, that's it. So basically what we're doing, we're not introducing any more heat to this. We're just going to keep this regulated at 82 degrees. So what's going to happen now is it's obviously going to evaporate off, and it's going to start to run like this. Now, you know I was saying before about like the dangers and things that you have when you do moonshining? Obviously the biggest one is what we call the foreshot. It's the poisonous parts that, not always, there might not be in there, but a rule of thumb is you should always throw the first part of your moonshine out. And the reason for that is because it's like your acetone, your methanol, all these nasty products that are byproducts actually of the fermentation process. Have got a lower boiling temperature than water and ethanol. They're even lower. So the theory is because they've got a lower boiling temperature, they're going to be the first things to evaporate and come through this. So that's why I've got this little container here. Now this is a 5.5 gallon, 25 litre pot still. Now I know in my system, because I've checked it, that is about 100 millilitres of foreshot. So that's to be safe, it's about 100 millilitres. Now again, depending on your still, the size, definitely do your research, because I've seen stills that only need 50 millilitres of foreshot. I've seen ones that need half a pint, you know, something like that, you know, like 500 millilitres. So it all depends on your still what you can do, but definitely check. The other thing to note is if you smell it, it smells like nail polish remover. That's a good indication that it's not the best thing to drink, because moonshine shouldn't smell like that, especially vodka moonshine. This is supposed to smell like vodka, not like acetone, like nail polish remover. So what we're going to do, we're just going to let this run until we've got 100 millilitres of foreshot. We're going to throw that away, or some people keep it because it's as good as a cleaner. It's like the most disinfectant cleaner I've ever used. once you've collected the 100 millilitres of 4-shot, then we're ready to collect the body. That's the best part of your moonshine. That's going to be your vodka. That's the bit you want to drink. So I'm going to let this boil up and get this 100 ml off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut and come back, and then we're ready to just collect our body, really, the main product. And then what we'll do, we'll go through what's going to happen with the temperatures and things to look out for there and steps to follow, and we'll show you how to know. I'll show you a technique how to know that all your ethanol, your alcohol, is all boiled up inside, and you're just coming back to water. And that's called that's the back end of the wash. That's the tails. You don't want that, really. You do if you're making a whiskey, because that's a brilliant flavour, you know that again. But in this vodka moonshine, we don't want that. So I'm just going to leave this now to collect all this, then we're going to come back and we've got our 100 mils. Okay, right, so we've got our 100 mils of 4-shot there. That's the bit we don't want. We're going to throw that away. So now what's coming out, now this is your body now. This is your actual spirit. So all I'm going to do is going to swap that little jug out for that one there, and we're running. We're ready to collect our alcohol. So what I'm just going to collect a little bit up, and then I'm going to use a little, I don't know what you call these beakers, these little science beaker things, these measuring, I don't know what you call them, funnel, and what you call a hydrometer. And this is going to tell us exactly how much alcohol is going to be in this. And I'm expecting about 70 to 80%, which is about 150, 160 proof. So I'm just going to collect about 100 millilitres here, and then we'll do a test, and we'll see what we've got. Now the other thing to notice, let's move that away from the flame. The other thing to tell you about is what we've basically done here. We've got it up to 82 degrees centigrade, which is now it is running. So what we've done, we've put it down to simmer. So like I was saying, we're not adding actually any more heat to the pot. But what you're going to notice, every half an hour, 45 minutes, the temperature gauge is going to go up by 1 degree. Without actually adding any more heat, it's just going to start to incrementally go up over time. Every half an hour to an hour, it'll go up 1 degree, and it'll go up 1 degree more. Now the reason what it's doing, that's telling you the ethanol inside is burning off. As the ethanol starts to evaporate and burn off, the temperature inside the pot starts to increase. So that's a good indication to tell you how much alcohol you've got left in here. So what my rule of thumb is, I always say 8 degrees, 8 to 9 degrees. So we've started at 82 degrees. So I'm going to expect 90 to 91 degrees centigrade on my thermostat at the back. Once it's there, that's going to tell me that all the alcohol in this system's burnt off, and what I'm getting out the end then is what you call your tails. That's the back end of the moonshine. That's your any kind of impurities, the flavours and things you might not want, the water, maybe there's a bit of sugar left in here. That's the bits you don't want. Now what some people do is they collect that in a separate container, and when they make their next wash, next time, they put that back into the wash just because they can get that extra little bit more moonshine out of it. Me personally, I don't. If you was making a whiskey, you'd probably do want to keep that, because that's the flavours. Like I say, that's your hops, your barley, your spice, your taste. That's going to be in there. So you do want to keep that. But just on this video, because we're making vodka today, you don't want that. We want a nice, pure, clean, smooth vodka. So what we do now is going to take about 4 to 5 hours, 6 hours to do this. But remember, don't leave you still. Stay in the house, keep checking on it. This has got an automated thermostat that recycles my water in here, so it keeps it cold. If you don't have anything like that, you're going to have to keep this cold. I've seen people, you can put ice in these, let the ice melt and get warm and then just replace it. You can do that. Or again, look at your own still, design your own, however you want to work it really. But as you can see there, it's running away now. It's running quite steady away, look. There we go. So we're just going to leave that to run. I'm going to come back in a few minutes when I've got a bit collected in there, and then we're going to see what the actual alcohol volume is. Okay, it's all running now. The still's running, as you can see. It's coming out quite nicely. I've just filled up one of these little beakers. You can get these again from any home brew shop. You can get them from online. They're in science labs and things like that. They're just a 100 ml tube really. And I've also got one of these. This is a hydrometer now. I know you saw one in the other video and all coloured lines on. That one, they're both hydrometers, but this one measures alcohol by volume, ABV. So this will tell you how much strength this alcohol is. The other one will actually tell you how much sugar to water, the viscosity of the water. It does something like that. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to try and see how much spirit we've actually got in our wash, really. So I'm just going to drop that in there. Now you're looking around, you're wanting around 70%, 16, between 60 and 80. 70 is about normal, and I think this one's coming out at, turn that so the camera can see it when we do it, 70. So that's not too bad. So you're getting 70% alcohol, which is 140 proof, which is coming out this still. And you're looking to get about 5 litres of that strength spirit. So there we go. I'll leave that there. And then basically we're just going to run this and let this finish, and then we'll come back when we're done. And then in the next video we'll show you how we're going to wash it. We're going to clean it up. We're going to polish the wash. Polish the spirit. We'll do that then. Hi, I'm the Moonshiner, and if you enjoyed today's tutorial, please press the red subscribe button below for more hints, tips and videos on everything to do with moonshine. Keep it shining. Peace!
I was born to moonshine.